Hi, welcome back again. I decided that today we should continue with the arches. I started this very short series on Wednesday, and today it's the second part, another video, concentrating just on arch shape. Doesn't matter if it will be the arch with an echo or nested arch, it is all about the shape and what we can do with it. And in the last video I showed you some ideas how to fill rows, like for example sashing or narrow borders, and today let's concentrate on overall ideas because arches are very nice for that. So let's start with the Baptist fan-like shape or rainbow-like. So let's create a corner and our first arch. And with that, I can fill a very large area without any problems whatsoever. I just have my first arch, and then I quilt echoes. And in contrast to a row, I can now expand in any direction I want. Everything what we want to have is to keep the lines more or less distant. And I'm starting with this design because we know it already and it's nice and easy, and we can warm up before we start something a bit more complex. So you can keep the number of echoes constant. You can vary it. For the consistency sake, I would say let's try to keep it constant, but sometimes it's easier to use an additional echo line to go there where you want instead of trouble. And I did already very similar design in my overall patterns ideas. So this is nice and relatively easy. It's very good exercise to practice the round shapes. To practice the spacing, to practice the strategy, how to move around the sandwich. Many great things can be learned if you just repeat simple shapes over and over again. So let me do a few more. So here I just traveled a little bit, added an echo, and you can decide if you prefer just 2 or 3 echo lines. Depending on this what you will do, the character of the pattern will also change. So I will make one more and stop here. And you can see the echo lines are fine, but we have those relatively large empty areas, and we can create a whole range of patterns or fillers just by having fun with the central element. So let me show you what I mean. Let me first so I have my first part of a circle, my arch. And what I will do now, I will fill it with smaller arches using a continuous design. And you can see I have immediately an extra element of interest here. Once more. One, two, three, four, and echo lines. Make it a bit larger. And what I want to do with my first small arch, I'm landing here. Then I'm going kind of like halfway here and down, and then to the other end. And then I continue using my arches. They don't have to be perfectly symmetrical, because this was like kind of part of our arch. That's fine. What we want to have is similarity of the shapes. They don't have to be perfect. One, two, three, four. I am not rushing anywhere. You can see that my quilting becomes more and more relaxed and more symmetric, and this is actually giving you a very nice texture. Look at these smaller elements and then those nice expanding echo lines, just separating clearly one little flower from the other ones. We can actually do a really flower-like looking feature. Let's try that one. So let's start in the middle and then we are quilting a little bit daisy. There you need a little bit better control because we have to travel, and this one will be much more dense in comparison to the other elements. Let me add one more echo line here. Middle, and then our petals. And arches as echo lines. I was actually not planning on using this design. I had this idea right now. So the difficulty level can be a little bit higher than the first one, but it's always good to have an extra inspiration. Oh, this is such a perfect filler for negative space. It looks so adorable. I like it. As you can see, I don't need much to be happy. But I like when I have an idea and it works. So, and sometimes it's the little things that make you happy. Okay, end of bottom thread. Let me refill it and then we will go on. Let's go on. Fill this space with this one element. I am just trying to figure out the most effective way of quilting this pattern. And that would be actually first starting with a tiny arch, then adding a very large echo line. Then here, of course, it's a bit less space. I think that will work really good. So let's try it again on a larger space. No, without any interruptions. So small echo as a small arch as a center for our flower. Adding a larger arch, create petals in the middle, and then go out and add some more arches outside. So that would be arches based design filled with the other kind of flowers. What else can we do? We can actually fill this space with small pebbles. Will also look very, very interesting. So in this case we are drawing our central arch. We are adding some pebbles. And we are drawing arches. Of course, you can use just one of those designs. I am simply now showing you different ideas, how different designs you can create by using different small fillers inside. I had to check my notes, what other ideas I still had in the last days. One more, so we can see a bit more texture here. So there are different possibilities depending on your experience and skill level. All many different possibilities for you to try and simply have fun with shapes you don't know within small spaces. So we have continuous, we had empty ones, we had continuous design flowers, we had daisies, and we had pebbles. That's like 4 different ideas for arches. Arch-based design. What else can we do? We can do something very, very simple. So again, we are starting with the first arch, and then we simply fill it with back and forth lines. We do not have to be central, so that they are all oriented towards the center. You don't have to do that, and you can see they are immediately much larger, and that would be much faster design. It has also completely different character than all the others, all because of the dominant directionality and texture that comes from the up and down lines, back and forth lines. So let's add one here, so we are filling this area as well. And excuse me. So, 1 or 2 more. So we can have some area with distinct look. There are only so many shapes in free motion quilting. There are arches, there are circles, there are wavy lines, straight lines, paisleys, and everything else is kind of based on that. Maybe I forgot 1 or 2 shapes, but if you will take a look at some of these designs that we practice, there is a certain similarity. So if you know how to draw this one, you are already equipped to make pretty large quilt or quilt a pillow. Try. The most important in quilting is texture. This one is created by repeating shapes, varying their size, to have from time to time pop off something interesting, and beside that it's all about having fun. So that were the back and forth lines, and now we can start one more, and this time we will start differently, because this time we will start with a swirl. And we will add arch around it to separate it from other swirls. Here you can see that because the swirl and the arches have very similar shape because of the roundness, the swirls kind of disappear. They become integral part of the arches. So here the look of the design is completely different. But still, we are using arches as the main tool to cover all the space we have. You notice that, I hope. So it's just the middle that it's changed a little bit. And depending on the element you are choosing to fill the first element of your arch design, you will get completely different look. So let's add one more. So that would, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would be nice to have one more element, and that's let's start again first with our first arch. We can make it a bit rounder. Now we have to go inside, and let's start with the middle element. Again, some traveling is required. So I am simply using continuous design idea to create create an interesting shape inside, and then close it or encapsulate it with my arches. Again, one or two more. Let's get it a little bit more equal. So I just had another idea what else can I do as a use as a filler, and this can be simply very easy. It's simply also such shapes are possible. Here I'm actually not sure if I like it. Maybe if I would make it more like a, but that would be similar to the other ones. But okay, let's try. Right now I'm just doing improv and trying whatever idea is coming to my head, just to show you that it's okay. You can try different things, have fun, explore, learn what you like, what not, what is the shape that you actually like, and what is the fastest and most effective, because sometimes we need exactly this kind of shapes and quilts. So now if I would like to have this a little bit more narrow, I can just do this. Will create also completely different texture, and then just add smaller or echo with that are a little bit closer to another. Really like that one. It's very restrained, but I think could be fun because of this very dense texture we have because of the arches and echo lines. And then we have this nice large area that it's divided by a line. We are traveling back, and that creates this nice, very distinct area where it's the fabric is popping out actually. So that would give us a very nice texture actually. And okay, I have really, that will be the last variation now. It's similar to pebbles, but actually I will just quilt ovals organized. So it's between, I'm sorry, I was not precise here. So if you have such lines that you didn't actually get them very precisely, just go a few times around, and then the lines will be actually covered. So this is a combination between the back and forth lines and pebbles. But it would also give us a very interesting texture. In the meantime, as I was quilting these, I got also, I will repeat it once more, so just that we have the three. I don't know why my foot is constantly getting loose. So, and that's why, for me, quilting will be never boring, because there will be always some new idea to try, new shapes to combine. And what I see sometimes on Instagram, there are so many wonderful creative quilters that are coming with designs that are like completely new to me, and this is so incredible because I am learning something new every single day. So that will be enough for today. There is a lot of material for you to practice on. And now let me recap what we did today. So we started just exploring the basic rainbow shape, which is arch based. So on Wednesday I showed you two possible combinations, going all in one direction and then changing the directions back and forth. So we had maybe like 45-degree arches. Here we are kind of going for overall, and that was the goal of today's video. And we started with the first quarter circle, or a little bit more, like almost half a circle shape, and then we echoed it a few times, and that creates us a very nice uniform texture. It's a very basic shape and it's very well known. However, this empty shape, space here, can be filled with different shapes. And we started with continuous flower design, which is a very nice shape. Let me zoom out so we can just focus on the designs. So that's what we have here. We have those little tiny flowers. And if we have this type of flowers, we can also add like daisies shapes. And actually, I think they are my favorite. And they are really encapsulated in those arches, multiple arches echoing and closing the shape of, and separating it like little pieces of jewelry, like something embedded in amber. Oh, I am getting poetic. The next possibility is to fill this first arch, or fill the space under the first arch with pebbles. And we see immediately that it's a very nice, and pebbles always give great texture. Very simple idea, much less complicated, it's back and forth lines. You can immediately see the tendency will be to get them, that the arches are a little bit more flat. And but you again start first with an arch, and then you fill the space under it. If you are using swirl, then actually I prefer to start with a swirl, and after that create arch again to encapsulate it. And because the lines are so similar, it kind of looks like a continuous design, that it's simply that we are just echoing the swirl, but it is again the same principle like we used here. What other shapes? We can use another continuous shapes like very sharp triangles. It's also another form of, it almost look like ginkgo leaves. We can have very basic leaves like those here. It almost like, I would call it chicken's feet. And we can have just simple wavy line expanding through the middle and separating our nice empty space into two very distinct ones to create a very nice pop in the texture. And we can have elongated pebbles for much faster feel of the texture. And with that, I would finish for today. Thank you so much, because there are also many new subscribers. I know I never say that, I never ask for subscribing. This is always your choice. If you like my content, then you do. If you don't, then don't. It's always a personal matter. Anyway, thank you very much to those that subscribe, that comment. We have regular exchange with some of you, and I'm very, very grateful for that, because that's what motivates me the most. So I hope you had fun. And I think I still have an idea for enough ideas for third video, where we are having fun with art-based designs. See you soon. Bye.